Hello, my friends, and welcome back to New Dalancia, our Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition campaign. The last session, we awoke to, after a night of lots of weird, very strange dreams, in a new place. A place unfamiliar. And after a brief encounter with some brigands bearing some very strange weaponry, we've proceeded to the library, where we intend to collect some additional information on our whereabouts. That's the best I've got. I'm sorry.
Oh, that was fun.
It was beautiful.
Thank you.
Cool. So the last time we left you guys, you had essentially discovered recently a old map of Boonhammer that was approximately 500 years old, and the librarian had told you that that's kind of what they've got on the information in the place, and then I'm gonna say you guys took a long rest, and it's the next morning, so you can do the long rest thing.
Doing the long rest thing.
Doing the long rest.
Let's see. My superiority dice. Oh, did you add ammunition for the pistol?
Yep.
Oh, that's cool. Awesome. Didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, it's fairly finite as such things go.
Indeed.
This music's not very restful.
Don't even hear it.
Well, we're in a city, so I mean, I guess it probably should be slightly more.
Yeah, I need to.
since we're in the Phaelorn section, but
I need to like revamp all of the tracks that are in there. Kind of revamp the playlists, I guess.
So anyway, what are we doing?
Well, so we're still. Well, where did we wind up? Where did we rest exactly?
So when you got to the library, you found that the library seems to be a combination of things. It's definitely got some books, and it definitely helps people, but it also looks like the go-to place. It's kind of built looking like a temple, and it had rooms for you, and you were able to get fed and stay the night, almost like a homeless shelter, so to speak.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
For whatever reason, that's what the library is in this place that you are.
Okay.
So the next morning, you guys wake up, and I guess you'll come out to the common area, I assume.
Yeah. Okay.
And as you're coming out, the librarian you had seen the night before kind of rushes up to you and approaches you and says, you're awake. I've done some more research. I know that you had a particular interest in Boonover, and I wanted to see if I could find a little more information out for you. Would you like to hear it?
Yes.
All right. Well, apparently the last recording things we have around the city is around 500 years ago. We've got some maps, we've got some history, nothing really extraordinary, but apparently there was some kind of an expedition that went out, and there was a plague that took the expedition and killed everyone in the expedition, and those who survived brought it back to the town and managed to wipe out the entire town. And a little bit of a little bit later, someone had discovered that the plague was actually magical in nature, and that and it started this widespread thing where different kingdoms started banning magic. And a war broke out between magic and technology. I'm sure you're aware of the wars. They went on for 200 years until the cleansing. And that's about all I could find on Boonover. Is that what you were looking for?
Yes. I thank you.
Sure, sure. I found some interesting facts that apparently, when someone says and he kind of looks around nervously and he whispers, the F word, the Fae. It apparently it didn't used to be so pejorative. Apparently it was only a set of people. Now of course we use it to mean all magic people, but I just thought that was an interesting fact.
Hmm.
And
Going
I read some readings that people have said that they think the elves actually came from these fae. I think that would be interesting if people knew that.
Yes. It could change the face of the world as we know it, wouldn't it?
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, before the war, this place here, Murhold, we were a magic stronghold, of course, and then there was the split, and now that those magic aristocrats they're all floating above us quite literally, and here we are in the slums. But it is what it is. You live the life of the cards you were dealt.
So, the people above, they are wielders of magic?
Well, I mean, strictly speaking, I don't know if that's true for every citizen of the city, but that was the general idea. I mean, none of us get to go up there, so we can't really say for sure.
Does anyone from up there ever come down here?
Sometimes we see emissaries come down and they kind of scoff at us and walk around, and it's almost like they've got a pity feeling from us. I don't know. We're the only part of the city that's allowed to openly practice magic, and sometimes they'll head by some of the shops and things, and you could probably talk to some of those people and maybe they'd have a little more information, but nobody ever comes to a library.
Intriguing. I spent the majority of my time in the library.
Hey, me too. We're library buddies.
Well, I thank you for the information.
Sure, sure. Happy to help. Happy to help.
I'm going to turn to address Ian Fear quietly. This bodes rather ill.
Were we spared from what was to come?
I believe that we would remember a plague. But perhaps the plague is what brought us here?
Maybe it hasn't happened yet.
Could be the
This
case.
could be a warning.
Or maybe someone thought that they could bring us forward. And maybe there was a cure here in the future. We need to find out more about this plague.
Indeed.
Perhaps we can ask the librarian who the author of who wrote that excerpt, who wrote this information down.
Let us glean more information about this plague and about its inevitable cure, assuming it was cured.
All right, so you're gonna kind of turn back to the librarian now.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Yep. Yeah. Yes. How can I help you?
My fellows and I require more information regarding this plague that you previously spoke of. Particularly
Excellent.
how it was cured, if it was ever cured, and when it's set on, what, just more detail in general.
Oh yeah. Sure. So So it looks like it just kind of ran its course and took out most of that countryside. Uh, I guess it killed most people, and no one really no one really knew what had happened until some merchants had traveled into the area and found all the bodies, and then people started to investigate. As far as we know, as far as I could tell from the writing, no one ever it never spread beyond just that region.
Do we happen to know who? I mean, who is the historian that reported this information?
Oh, that's a great question. Uh, it looks like hmm. It looks like there was a Godberry involved. Oh, I'm not sure if that's the original author. You know, sometimes with these old manuscripts, it's hard to make out whether they're writing about themselves or talking about others. But I think that there might be a Godberry here.
Um,
Here in
might you point
town.
out where it says Godbury for us so that we can get a little bit of context?
Yeah, so he kind of brings the manuscript over, and it's this old paper, and it's one of these where he's got to kind of turn it by tweezers. It looks like it might even be magically held together to keep everything intact. And he flips through and he shows you, and it looks like kind of a handwritten journal, a first person account, and the writing just at some point in sort of the top left there's just the scribble that says Godberry with a question mark.
And that's just in the upper left on one of the pages, or
Yeah, and the, kind of the front of the journal that he's holding, like the first page. There's just a scribble up there.
okay, and it says Godbury with a question mark.
Yep.
Um, hmm.
You know, some of these enchantments they were done by Ranlin himself. You might ask him if he knows any more about them. I don't. You know, they're just shelves to me. And lots of books, and I just read what I can. But there's so many.
You mentioned Randlin. Who is this?
Ranlin, he's the art art he's the arch magician. He has this shop over there. He's the one the emissaries always go visit when they visit this area.
Yes, perhaps we should pay this man a visit. This person a visit. Again. Oh.
It comes to your attention that the thug that you had with you last night is nowhere to be found.
As is to be expected.
He must have scampered off at some point in the evening.
I checked through my belongings real quick, realizing that.
It looks like all of you still have your belongings. There's nothing missing from anyone.
Okay. See. This guy's named Ranlin. Is that... Well, okay. I guess we can find that out some other way. And you said that Ranlin lives here in town? Where might we find him or her?
Well, he's got a shop. It's not far from here. It's do you have a map?
Do we have a map?
Maybe we should. We were given one by the
Yeah.
police. I remember.
Ah, yes.
Right, yeah. The map that's on the screen is the one the police gave you.
Okay.
So he'll mark a spot on the map that's a little further south of you, kind of closer to Old Town. It's like around here.
Okay.
And yeah, says that's Ranlin's shop right there. I'm sure you can talk to him. He's always so friendly. Although I'll warn you, he's a little aloof. It's like he thinks he's better than everyone else. Well, you'll see.
Yes. Again, we thank you for your assistance. You are very
Yeah.
kind.
We appreciate your time. Thank you.
Of course. Come back anytime. You're always welcome.
So with that,
He scuttles back.
I think we should make our way to go visit Ranlin.
All right. You venture out of the library, which was a couple streets north, and sort of head down to that southward area that where he marked on the map. And as you get close, it's it's uh, it, it's a little bit different part of the city. You start to see what looks like magic shops kind of popping up. They've got windows with potions and various different artifacts and things, and it's clear that you've made it to some kind of a magic district. And when you get to around the area where he had marked on your map, you see a very large building that kind of outshines the rest. It's upkept. It actually kind of reminds you of the old architecture of Bunavar. It's definitely a little different than the rest of the city. It's not nearly as modern. It's almost an homage to like the older style. And as you come up to it, it's bigger than the rest. And you can find you can find the double doors, and it's just a big thing, and it says it says some writing that it's hard to make out. You can see magic, and you can definitely see that it probably something like Ranlin, and you're pretty sure this is probably his shop.
All right.
This looks like this might be the place.
Door is shut.
The door is shut, but there's a sign there on the front that seems to be marginally welcome.
Oh, well. I walk in.
All right, it just kind of swings open. There's not like a latch or anything. Let me move everyone.
Ooh.
All right, so as you come into right as you come into the place, it's a large foyer. You know, you all kind of stand in a group as you come in. It's pretty large. It's pretty nice. But it's interesting that a place like this would have almost like an acceptance chamber or a greeting room, so to speak. Because the hallway that's beyond it doesn't have any doors or anything. It's just like an open foyer area, which strikes you as a little odd for a magic shop. But through that hallway, you can kind of see that that's probably where the magic shop proper is behind it.
Well, I suppose we'll continue into the. I'll continue into the magic shop proper then. Shall I just go ahead and move myself?
Yeah, go. You guys can move yourselves at this point.
As I round the corner, I'd like to call out, just to make my presence known. Greetings.
Do any of you speak Undercommon?
I do.
Awesome. Okay, so you can, as you're coming through the hallway, you can hear them speaking, kind of right before you all get in the room, and there's a conversation going, and most of you don't understand it, but Ian Fear, you hear them talking back and forth, and one of them says to the other, she said it was a bit of a success, but it did have a few, shall we say, side effects. And then you heard a second voice that says, Lolth will be pleased. And then a third voice says, what kind of side effects are we talking about here? And the first voice says, oh, well, a few of them seem to have ended up here. Here? Yes, well, apparently. What if they come looking for us? Well, obviously, at this point, as you're coming through the hall, they kind of notice that you've stepped into the main area, and he immediately you can see that there's a guy standing kind of there's a large what do you call it, like a large desk, and you can see there's three men standing over there. The one in the middle looks up to greet you, smiling very wide in common. He says to you, hello and welcome. Welcome, come in. and you can see before you. They look like elves, but they've got very dark skin, and of course, Valphalin, you recognize them from your readings as Drow, and they seem to just be running this shop.
Ah,
It says, "Is there anything I can help you
salutations.
with?"
Yes, we come seeking information. We were
Well,
directed here by the librarian to speak with a man, Ranlin.
The one in the middle says, "Well, I'm Ranlin. I don't sell information so much as magic goods, but I guess a magic book could be considered information. What sort of information are you looking for?" And then Ian Fear, make a perception check. Okay, so you're actually close enough, and you can barely, they're barely audible, but one of them whispers to one of them on the side, whispers to the person in the middle and says, "Oh shit, is that them?" And the person in this is an undercommon, and the person in the middle leans back and says, "It must be. Just act normal." And then he starts talking common again. He says, "Yes, well, what sort of information are you looking for? I'm sure I could help you if it's within my power."
We understand from the librarian you were one of the sources of information regarding the incident in Brunavo some 500 years ago.
Yes. Well, what is it you're looking for exactly?
Well, I mean, if you're selling goods, I suppose we'll need some sort of means of doing location as we try to find our way back, as it were.
When you say back, what do you mean?
Well, we've been traveling, and some of the descriptions from the Brunavo area sound like places we've been around, and so we were interested.
At this point, I'm going to. I'd like to gesture toward Misku and Tess to move forward, but I want to do so without them seeing me.
You roll a sleight of hand check.
Sleight of hand. I'm awful at this. Not bad. 14.
Okay. Passive.
So the way I'm thinking that this is going to work is I'm going to kind of, okay, so Tess doesn't really have line of sight on me. Oh, neither does Misku.
The shelves are actually only about they're shorter shelves. They're only about 3 feet high. They're not tall shelves.
So it's like waist.
You can see all of
them. Okay, so I'm going
Yeah.
to kind of tuck my hand like behind my back, behind my cloak, so that they can see it, and gesture for them to move up.
At this point, Ranlin in the middle looks around, and his eyes kind of start darting around, and sees that there's this set of people, these 6 people that undoubtedly match some description that he's expecting. And hold on a second.
But I'm unaware that they know. Like, am I starting to pick up on the fact that they know who we are?
If Ian Fear has not made his uncomfortableness aware, none of you are aware, other than him seeming kind of slimy.
Yeah, like I think the tip-off would be that I haven't directly, like maybe there's like a bit of pause if I haven't directly explained, our situation. Then maybe I'm like, I don't think I would have made it totally clear yet, but that I'm giving a little bit of pause to explaining what's going on should probably be a little bit of a tip off to have some caution.
Okay. So
Interesting.
there's quite a bit of tension kind of building on both sides at this point. And Ranlin kind of looks around and he says, you travel with quite a lot of companions just looking for a little information.
Yes, we are adventurers from the deep wilderness.
I see. And at this point, you see him make some gesture with his hand. Let's see, Ian Fear and Valphalin, you are inside darkness, and no one. So there's this sphere of darkness that just suddenly appears, and no one inside it can see anything, and everyone outside of it can't see inside of it.
Okay.
Oh no, you guys are in the Shadow Realm.
Everyone roll initiative.
Right. I forgot that doesn't work. Did that work? It did
Yeah.
work. Okay.
Look at the nat 20s.
Ooh. Ooh.
I'm just gonna move this for a second so I can click things. That's really annoying. Okay, is that everyone?
Can you guys
Valphalin?
hear me, by the way?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool. I was having connectivity issues at the beginning there, and I wasn't sure if you. Okay, cool. Thank you.
I forgot to click my token.
Oh, got it. No worries. What did you roll?
13.
Okay.
I just say I really like this song.
Okay. And so outside the character, just talking about mechanics for a moment. This is magical darkness. It means if you try to make an attack on something in this, you cannot see them. So you're going to be rolling disadvantage on everything,
Okay.
unless you have, well, I guess none of you are warlocks, or if you've got some kind of way to see that doesn't rely on sight.
Hmm.
And Ahara's gonna roll first. He's probably gonna take a few steps back and try to take a shot.
Dark
I'm just
vision
gonna
is a
move the
little bit
darkness to the
different,
map.
Cyrene, simply because this is magical darkness. So that would work for normal darkness, but not magical darkness, sadly.
Yeah, I was trying to read it, and then I accidentally posted it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know that I have any way to, like, unless someone has the darkness spell, I don't have any way to link it into the chat. But yeah, it essentially says that even unless they have a magical means of seeing, even dark vision can't see through. Okay, so he's going to attack.
Ian Fear, can you see anything?
I can't see a thing.
What's going on?
Can we hear them inside the cloud, or are they just completely gone?
You can hear them, but yeah, they can't see anything.
Okay.
What's going on? Figured it's worth a shot.
All right, and so Ahara Ahara does manage to hit him for 11.
Would we hear the guy grunt in pain then?
You would have, you would have you would hear the arrow kind of whiz and a thump, and you might hear a grunt or something. It would give you a good idea of the general direction, so you could swing,
Yeah.
but you'd still have disadvantage.
Yep.
Well, so what I'm gonna do is so I guess it'll be, okay, so now I have a question. So, we're attacking with disadvantage, but with my Tides of Chaos ability, I can attack with advantage. So if I use that, would that just be a normal roll then?
Correct.
All right.
Yeah,
So,
and you can only target them as long as they were the place they were. If that makes, like, once they move, until someone can hit them, no one will know where they are. Like, we only know where they are right now because they haven't moved, and you heard.
yeah.
All right. Wait. Oh, gotcha. Yeah. So you essentially just get a normal roll.
All right. And then I am going to. So I'm gonna use. Hang on. Chaos Bolt. Basically at the noise that I just heard.
You're gonna do what?
Use Chaos Bolt.
Chaos Bolt. Okay. That hits.
Okay, it deals. So I'm casting this at 2nd level. Give it a minute to load up.
What's the damage type?
Psychon? Let me check.
It's a choose. He has to choose the damage type.
Oh.
This is going to be. Can y'all hear me?
You're breaking up quite a bit.
Give me a sec.
If you need to put it in chat, you know. Force.
Oh, force damage. Okay. Okay, so you rolled. There's a lot of rolls here. Okay, so you rolled. That's the first roll, and you choose. Are those two separate rolls, and you choose the higher one?
No, I think he only rolled once.
Wait, so it's the target should take 2d8, right? Which one is the 2d8? Oh, 2d8 plus 1d6. That's the 10. Okay. And then
the +1 is from the D6 rolling
and the roll
for a
was
higher
a 4,
level cast.
so you chose force. Okay. And then you got it. Okay, so he takes 11 force damage. Okay.
So am I close enough to see Ian Fear?
You cannot see the hands in front of you. You cannot see your own hands at this point.
Oh wow, okay. I assume though that I hear all of this happen. I'm going to say, don't kill him. We need information.
All right. Am I coming in better now?
Seems
I
to
heard
be.
you there.
All right. Yeah. So I was casting it as a 2nd level spell. So.
Okay. So shouldn't that get you 2d6 then?
Hang hang on a sec.
The
'Cause it
other
should be 2d8 plus 1d6, and then an additional d6 for every.
the
level.
other D6 is the
Yeah,
one.
So since it was a higher level cast, the additional die was up top, so it's a
Yeah.
total of 11 damage.
It's a total of 11.
Oh,
Yeah,
man, this is like so confusing to read. Got it. Okay.
It took me a bit to get used to that too.
All right. So I think that's it. All of Ian Fear's turn.
Yeah, I suppose I'll move back over to by Ahara, and then that'll be it.
Okay. It is the Drow's turn, and one of them's going to come out of the darkness, standing by Misku, and attack. $17. That does not hit. And one of them's going to stand over by Tess and attack.
Oh,
Oof.
That's not.
Ouch.
7 damage.
that's a crit, man. That's double.
Did it not do it?
No.
Well, no,
Yeah.
it rolled 2d6s. I see what it did. That's weird.
Oh.
Is
So
that
should
not?
we- So instead of doubling the damage, it just rolled the 2d6 because it normally deals 1d6.
Oh, that's interesting. Huh.
Let me double check. Short sword.
guess.
Yeah, 1d6 plus 2 damage. So it rolled 2d6 and added 2. And then it was a 3 and a 2. Yeah, so you can take 7 damage, or yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine. You can
apparently.
just take 7 damage.
Okay, cool.
All right, Cyrene's turn.
Okay, so
Guess I should change the music now that you're doing combat-y things.
The violin was the violin was making me calm.
We're trudging through the snow in Russia.
That's good. Yeah, I'm picking up on that.
Okay, so magic missiling the drow.
All right.
Okay, just the one straight ahead, I imagine, all 3. And that is 10, 10, and 2. All right.
Now we're fighting a dragon in the snow in Russia.
We are Dovahkiin.
Is it playing both of them?
No, it stopped one. I know it's a little weird. You can actually play multiple tracks at the same time, though. It's a little
can you
strange.
hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I was trying to attack whoever attacked Tess.
Okay.
The magic.
Got it. Yep. He got hit by all 3.
Okay. Cool. All right. Awesome.
He is looking pretty bad. And Tess is up.
Okay, so I have a reaction spell that I can use in response to being damaged by that guy. So I'm gonna go ahead and use that.
Oh,
Okay.
Should have mentioned that when I got hit.
Yeah. Try and call it out when you get hit, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's 2d10 and then an additional 2d10, right?
Ooh.
Yeah, so if you're only doing it level 1, you do the bottom. If you're doing it higher than level 1, you use the other number on top.
Yeah, this was a level 3 spell.
She's casting at level 3.
Got it. Okay. Where does it say level 3? I guess it just by virtue of it being
By the number of
2d10.
dice in the because
Sure.
she's rolling 2d10 in addition to the 2d10.
Oh yeah, 1 times 2d10. That's weird how that how they do that. 1 times 2d10.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
I guess he has to make a dexterity save.
Dexterity. Yep. I'm working on it.
That looks like it passes.
All right. So he takes half as much damage, which would have put him close to death and means Cyrene would have killed him.
So he dropped? Oh, he dropped.
So that one's done.
Okay, and then besides the reaction, I'm just gonna go ahead and use a cure on myself real quick. My cure wounds.
Okay. For your action. Okay.
Yeah.
So you
And then
heal
that'll
from
be
that.
it.
Cool. And Misku's up.
All right. We'll rage. And we'll bonk.
Rage bonk. That barely hits. And this is the one on the right.
Yeah.
All right, so 8 damage.
And I will. I'll end my turn.
Okay. I'll fail it. It's
So
your turn.
I recall that there was a table before me
Yep.
and in front of the drow Ranlin. So DM, what I want to do here is I want to hoist myself over the table and attempt to tackle him.
Okay,
So
make
no
an
weapon,
acrobatics check.
no weapon drawn, nothing. I just want to hoist up and like fling myself at him.
Okay, you're just launching yourself at where he was.
Yeah,
Essentially.
launching myself right where he was.
All right, make a acrobatics check.
Acrobatics check. 13.
All right, I'm gonna say you're pretty spot on. So you hoist yourself over the table, and you end up with him, and at this point you're grappled.
Oh, cool.
So, let's see. Hold on, I'm gonna roll a dexterity save for him, though. All right. So you grappled him, and he manages to lose, or he doesn't manage to keep his footing. He loses his footing, and you both kind of tumble to the ground. You're grappled, and you're on top of him.
Yes. Awesome.
And everyone else can hear the tumble crash.
As I'm grappled with him, I want to say to him, why have you accosted us?
So he kind of scoffs at you, and he says, the thing is, Our Lady, she's got to please Lolth. Your presence here, it's just a mistake. and he kind of tries to shove at you.
You're going to have to do better than that.
Fair enough. So that pretty much ends your turn.
Yes.
All right, it is Ranlin's turn. He's gonna roll a contested strength check with you.
Rolling.
So roll a strength check.
18.
Good luck.
He does not break your grapple. But he is able, let's see, hold on, let me double check his sheet. All right. He is going to be able to shoot you.
That's a hit.
21 to hit. So he shoots you for 10 damage. Yeah. Wait. It should be 9 plus. Why didn't it roll the other damage? Piercing damage. So 1d10 plus 4.
I'm seeing 1d6 plus 4 on that damage roll.
Oh. Shoot. I
You
used
hit
the wrong
Brash
weapon.
with sword, didn't you?
I did. Damn it. Why does it still say
That's also
short sword?
awesome.
Mounces. Oh, that's...
You know what? I bet it's the macro that's messed up.
You can quickly pop his character sheet by shift double clicking.
NPC action 1. That's weird. It's definitely not like linking the right one. All right, let me see if I could just click it. Oh, there it goes. All right.
Yeah, that hits.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still gonna use the first roll, which was 21, but all right, let me try that. All right, that one does 26 damage.
That puts me at 2 health.
And he was unable to break the grapple, so you are still grappled unless you choose to release at some point.
Nope.
So I'm guessing that we just heard a loud bang.
And then you hear Val go,
Yeah, so a very loud bang that by this point you're able to identify that it was a pistol crack, and you hear a shot followed by Valphalen's sort of under grunt, and it's clear where it's coming from. Ahara should be able to maybe take a shot.
Either that or what I was gonna say. I would mention to Ahara. Do you think what's his name? The wolf might be able to find this foe in the darkness using smell.
Oh, that's probably a good bet. Yeah, I'm gonna say Talos attack, and he's going to come in, and he should know what the smell of Valphalen is, so he attacks. That is not a hit.
Would it get to attack with advantage, or was it he wasn't knocked prone when he was tackled by Valphalan?
So which part?
So when Valphalan jumped over to attack Ranlin, didn't you say he knocked him over with him on top?
Yeah.
So he would have been knocked prone, right?
Yeah, so he is so he's on the ground, he's prone.
So would Talos get to attack? Well, I mean, I guess he wouldn't have advantage because of the darkness then.
Yeah, I mean, he's still attacking by smell at this point. Yeah, so I guess he doesn't. He definitely doesn't have advantage. I'm gonna say.
He also can only use one hand, it looks like. He can't move unless I move him. And I can only move at half speed. I'm looking through the rules right now.
Yeah, so his shot that he got off, he's not going to be able to reload his pistol, essentially.
Right. He had one preloaded. Now I better hope he doesn't do 2 damage to me. Not gonna let him do 2 damage to me.
Fair. All right, so so that's a miss on his part, and Ahara is just going to shoot a longbow with disadvantage. Still manages to hit where the sound is and where the chomping and all of the noise for 9 damage.
Wait, if the 12 hit from an arrow and the 12 from the bite didn't hit.
What's that?
Well, no, it's just because I was looking because the attack from the bite was a 12, but the attack from the longbow with disadvantage was a 12.
Oh shit, that's my bad. It's because I did the disadvantage. I chose the larger dice. That's my bad. So he did not do damage. His hit points are back up. All right, so Ianfear, you are up.
So, I mean, now, so I should be able to see the other drow over here by Misku, right?
Yep, he is visible.
All right, then I'm going to, yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to spend a sorcery point. Is that how good? No, hang on a sec. It is. Do I have to spend? I think I have to spend 3. Let me make sure about this. It wasn't flexible cat. Okay. So, all right. With I'm gonna use my flexible casting ability here, from my class, and spend 3 sorcery points in order to give myself another 2nd level spell slot.
Yep.
And I'm gonna use that to cast the Chaos Bolt at the drow over here.
Okay.
Roll. Oh, is it? Hang on. That's why.
Okay, that hits. And looks like it's acid damage. Wait, no, it's force.
I get to choose which one. Yeah, so it's 4. So.
Well, you choose which die.
Yeah. But both of them are 4, so.
Right.
Because it's one of the D8s. So, yeah,
so
4 damage.
15. And that is enough to kill him.
Alright. And I'll call out to Valphalin. Are you okay?
Oh, for now.
Well, Mr. Sneaky over there is the last one we got left, so maybe if you surrender, Mr. Sneaky, maybe you live to fight another day.
He just kind of laughs. All right, Cyrene, it's your turn.
I'm afraid of killing. So
You can try and do.
Do you have any
wounding damage?
sleep would
I have
help?
sleep.
Do you have anything that would remove this darkness?
I don't think so.
So I will tell you that from your dealings with magical creatures in the past, you're aware that drow are immune to being charmed, and magic can't put them to sleep.
Oh yeah.
Oh, right. I don't have anything for the darkness though.
Yeah, about the only thing we could do would be to knock him unconscious, I
Oh.
think.
She's got magic missile. I think you see where I'm going.
You could potentially dispel.
But
But it would have to be non-lethal damage, right?
For dispel?
how would I do that?
Well,
I
I
don't
don't know
know
if
what
she has.
I don't know if anyone has dispel magic. I was
Hold
just
on.
throwing it out there.
Yeah.
I don't think I do. Oh, go for it.
Hmm. I don't know. I can't see what you have.
All I have are like charms. Oh,
Just go with damage.
You
Okay.
have fear. That's about the only crowd control it looks like you have.
should I do that?
Go with it. Yeah. Might help in the fight.
How do I do that? Oh, okay. I get it. I get it. Okay.
Ooh,
Ah, you can't see him.
yeah.
Oh, true.
So, I guess I'll just. Look to Tusk and ask her what she thinks I should do.
Flutter your wings and try to force the smoke away. I don't know what this is.
Okay, never mind. I shouldn't have thought that would work.
Can anyone
Let me just
identify
use
the
my
spell
tiny hand.
being used? Can I identify the spell being used?
You can roll an Arcana check and see if you recognize what it is.
I'll do that too.
That's a 19.
Oh, wow.
All right. Can I link this? Oh, I have an easy way to link this. Let me just paste.
What's the... Oh, okay. I was going to say if you... Non-magical light can't illuminate it, so magical light can.
That is correct.
Oh yeah, that's
Yes.
right. The darkness is emanating from an object, so if we can find something.
So, Valfalen, from your studies, you recognize this as a darkness spell. So he must have cast it on some object that caused magical darkness. It could only be eliminated by dispelling the object or
Completely
magical
covering it up
illumination.
with an opaque object.
So I'm just going to call out, Mage, I could use a light.
So could I. Unfortunately, I'm not quite that skilled.
So if it breaks, if the thing breaks, right? Will it like stop the magic, or will it still go?
If you were able to break the thing that was enchanted, yeah, I'll say that stops the magic.
'Cause I have-
You also
Uh-huh.
you have dancing lights, right? The cantrip
Yes.
that does create magical torches.
Okay.
Oh, yes, it does.
And that would work in this? Okay. Okay.
Dancing lights? No, it's magical light. Yeah, non-magical light does not remove the darkness. Magical light, on the other hand, does.
So I can do that.
Yeah, so if you cast dancing lights in that area, it'll illuminate because it's magical light.
And then I'll follow the lights in.
Oh, honey.
Be my light. No, I need to. There's a wounded person out there.
No, I need to.
All right, so Cyrene's gonna cast dancing lights, and as she does this, the magical darkness dissipates enough. It's still I'm gonna go ahead and remove it. It's still darker than you would expect, but it's bright enough that you can clearly see everything.
Gotcha.
They look like little will-o-wisps.
And Tessa's up.
Just one moment.
I bet no one's ever used dancing light in a legitimate way before.
It doesn't strike you as being a extremely useful spell, but
It's always about right place, right time for some of those cantrips.
Okay, so I can see Valthalin then, right?
Correct.
Okay, so I'm gonna move in just a little bit. We're gonna
And you can
use Prayer of Healing.
Okay. Valfalin heals for 19.
whew. My
Yeah,
wounds
that's
are
it for me.
closing. I thank you.
Oh, you're quite welcome, my friend. And that ends my turn.
All right. Misku, you're up.
So I'm gonna move and then there. Yeah. So I'm gonna roll an intimidation, but I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So if I were to use thaumaturgy to like get my eyes to light up red, could I roll intimidation with advantage?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, you're. I'll say that he hasn't seen a lot of tieflings in his lifetime.
Yeah. So I'm gonna use thaumaturgy to make my eyes like glow up like a hellish red, and I'm going to roll intimidation.
Another quick question. Because I'm grappling him, does that give attackers advantage?
I'm gonna say no because they have to aim around you.
Okay.
That I'm not sure if those are the rules or not. That's just what I'm gonna go with. So 14. And what is it you're saying when you're trying to intimidate?
Misu's just gonna shout, "Stay down."
It's like your catchphrase.
Yep.
All right, you can see in his eyes, he looks at you and he's very surprised, and there's kind of a tinge of fear as you're yelling at him. It's not clear whether it has solid effect or not. He doesn't stop or anything he's doing, but he definitely looks like he's a little worried.
Awesome.
and I will end my turn.
All right, Valfan.
I want to force him prone.
I think he is right.
Well, there's grappling, and then well, I mean, I guess I did tackle him to the floor. So is he both grappled and prone?
He is at the moment.
Okay. So I
He
don't
tried
need
to
shove.
resist you last round and failed his roll.
Maybe see if you can get his arms behind his back or something in order to fully incapacitate.
Yeah, I'd like to incapacitate him further. How can I do that, DM?
Roll an athletics check.
Athletics. 12.
You're unable to completely subdue him.
Okay.
And that probably ends your turn.
Yeah, I think that ends my turn.
All right. Ranlin is going to. Shoot, let me just double check. I don't have the text for that spell real quick.
Oh boy. Okay, now I know what I should have done. Oh man. Okay, now that's cool.
It is Smatic. I guess he still has one arm free. All right, so he makes a gesture with his hand and mumbles something, and the two of you, still grappled, float and are now floating about 2 feet off the ground, but you're completely vertical again.
Okay.
And he's able to kind of reach back and grab his sword, but his turn is over. He's not able to move or anything. And Ahara is going to take a shot with his bow. He has a clear shot as he's floating. And it's a crit
Nice.
for 16 damage. At this point, Ranlin, you can see that he kind of starts to, like, he stops resisting you, Valphalin. He kind of, it's like he's kind of given up, and he's starting to kind of surrender, and he kind of moves his hands in a motion of up and palms away from himself. And Ian Fear, it's your turn.
So I'll say to him, dispel your magic, come down quietly, and we will let you live.
He kind of waves his hand, and both he and Valphalin kind of sink back to the ground. And he grudgingly he sort of nods. He says, "All right, fine."
I let him go. I dust myself off. Crack my neck. A wise choice.
So he looks at you. He's very standoffish at this point. He says, "All right, now what?"
You seem to have knowledge of who we are and where we are from. How?
Well, I serve Our Lady.
And who, pray tell, is this lady?
He laughs, and he kind of reaches down. He's got what looks like another pistol behind him. He reaches
I
down.
immediately
and
reach for my
he's-
greatsword, unsheath it, and I level it at him.
He's kind of chuckling the whole time, but instead of pulling the pistol up to point it at you, he sticks it underneath his chin, and he says, "You ever heard of a Drider? 'Cause you will." And then he pulls the trigger, and blows his head off. So his the explosion of the fine mist of brain bits. Talos is rather unhappy that they're all over him, and
What a
you're all
waste.
kind of left in shocked silence of the as the gunshot kind of rings.
We should have tied him up.
I suppose it cannot be helped. Ianfear,
Such a
Tess, Cyrene. Let us find any bit of information that we can in this place.
I would also recommend we possibly do it as quickly as we can. With such a loud noise, I'm sure it will attract attention from others, possibly even security.
So you can look around this place, and other than the blood spray that's all over the front desk, most of the shop is left intact. And you maybe hadn't noticed before, but there appears to be another door at the south wall.
Oh, good. Actually, before we move forward, I would like to check his body.
Okay. So you kind of search his pockets. He's got a pistol, and the pistol looks pretty unextraordinary, like you've seen before. But the bullets look a little different. And then he's also got he's got a pouch with some gold in it, and he's got a key in his other pocket.
Ianfear, over here. Knight, can I somehow toss this ammunition over to Ianfear?
Yeah, I mean you've seen them. You've seen the stuff being used. That you've seen a clip come out before, so you can just pull it out and toss it to Ian.
Okay, so I just toss it over to you. Was that it? Did he have any other personal effects of note?
Well, yeah. So there was the key and the money pouch and the weaponry.
How much money we talking?
When you pull it out, and it's about 75 gold and 16 silver.
I'm gonna divvy that up among the party. So, hang on just a moment. You said 75 gold, even?
75 gold, 16 silver.
Okay. And then got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 characters. Everybody gets 12 gold, 7 silver, 6 copper.
That's what I got too. All right.
I want to. So this is a shop essentially, right? With the shelves and stuff. I'm gonna see if I can. I'm gonna see if I can search any of these books. See if there's anything that's about any spells that we could.
Okay. Yeah. So you can look through them. You don't immediately see anything that jumps out at you. It's actually, most of the books are pretty lackluster that you can see. Most of these look like it's almost like a novel shop. Like some of the magic stuff looks real, some of the potions look legit, but most of the books and things look like they're just kind of the trash that tourists buy.
I'm more interested in this other door.
It's for the it's all for the people who had their Wiccan phase.
Right. You do manage to scrounge up 2 potions of healing.
Okay.
All right.
Is my alignment? Yeah, okay. Oh, you know what? No. Oh. Well. So there, you said there's a door here.
There is.
Is it closed?
It is closed.
I'd like to, without opening it. No. Yeah, you know what? Without opening it, I'd like to turn the doorknob to see if it's locked, or turn turn whatever mechanism it might have and see if it's locked.
Okay. You reach up to the door handle. You sort of jiggle it, and it's clear that it's locked. It's also pretty warm to the touch.
Ah. Intriguing. The door is warm. Wait, the door is warm or the handle is just the handle? I'm gonna feel the.
You only touch the handle.
I want to feel the door like itself. Is it also warm?
Yeah. So as you know, it's clear the handle is kind of warmer than everything else, but as you touch spots on the door, it's almost like the heat is radiating away from the handle.
This door fixture is warm to the touch. It could be that it is magic.
Certainly makes sense for this area. Perhaps try the key.
I feel unsafe in doing so. Could someone check this fixture for traps?
If like anyone could probably roll an Arcana check.
I'll give it a shot.
Go ahead.
It's a warm doorknob.
You don't immediately see any sort of magical presence. It's clear that something is here, but you're not sure what to do about it.
Test rolls a 15.
Okay. Yep. You can tell that there's definitely a trap that will likely spring if you open this door, but you can't quite figure out how to disable it.
There's definitely something here that I can't put my finger on. It definitely isn't safe.
Well, you
Not
prob-
sure
can
if
put
the
your
key
finger
is the key.
Yeah, you probably can put your finger on it, but I wouldn't recommend doing it.
Now is not the time, Ian Fear.
Have we no other
can always
options?
I could always just open the door and use my danger sense to roll a dex save on it.
Very well. Allow me. And I'm going to unlock the door with it, or I'm going to try to unlock the door with a key.
Okay. So you unlock the door with the key. It clicks. It seems pretty harmless.
Okay. At this point, I'm going to back off by by that much. Misku, after you.
Misku just shoulders it open.
I'm going to draw my blade and follow her in closely.
Okay, as the door comes down, the ground kind of rumbles a little bit, and there's this large cloud that starts kind of emanating.
Oh.
And so everyone that was standing in that area, roll a Constitution check. Although Misku, you can still use your danger sense.
Check or a save?
Constitution save. Sorry.
Blah.
You seem to deal a lot with poison of some kind.
All right, Misku, you managed to hop out of the way and take half damage.
Can I hop through the doorway or to the side? Doesn't matter.
Yeah, you can hop through the. It does. Yeah, whichever way.
Dark Souls roll.
Valphalin, the dice gods were lucky, were kind to you. You will get 18 poison damage, and you are currently poisoned for the next hour. All right, so as you open the room, and you're all free to wander in now, I suppose.
I walk in and I post up against the wall with one arm, clearly quite weak.
That's rough, buddy.
As you come in the room, it looks like it's some kind of a weird sacrificial chamber, as is evident by the sigil on the ground and the skeleton that is there. The skeleton is interesting because it doesn't look like old bones. It looks like fresh bones, but they're completely clean. On the east wall, you can see a chest, and there's some kind of a altar, kind of with a glowing orb on it to the southwest. And then you see an old, probably broken organ and a couple shelves that look to hold more interesting things than you found out there.
I want to look at this circle item and kind of feel it to see what kind of material it's made.
Which thing?
This circle.
Oh, the sigil. Okay. As you touch it, it's kind of sticky and warm, and it looks like it's really fresh. It's pretty clear to you that this is almost definitely some kind of blood.
This is something recent, very recent. This is almost fresh blood.
Oh. So, what's in the middle of this circle?
It's a skeleton that's been picked clean.
And the altar, what's with that?
So there's a glowing something on the altar. It's like this weird prismatic thing that's sort of floating above the altar. You've never seen anything like it, but it emits a strange blue glow.
Infia, Cyrene, do you know of this device?
This is unknown to me.
So, there you go. So, Cyrene looks at it, and Cyrene, you realize that you've read about this before. There's a very high level conjugation. It's the spell is usually called Gate. It requires a really nice diamond, and it's clear to you that this is the result of what you're looking at here. That someone has created a great portal. Say that again.
Okay. Oh, I said like a Stargate.
Yeah, basically.
So I'm just gonna let everyone know that essentially, and then we might be able to use it.
Yeah, this might be our way back from wherever this is.
But even if we do go back, what of the warnings of the plague that not only came upon the expedition, but to the town afterwards when it was brought back?
They mentioned that the plague simply ran its course. There was no known cure. Therefore, we would only have... what's the term I'm looking for here? We would only have knowledge of it. Not how to prevent it or how to cure it.
Do we have knowledge on how it started? Where it came from?
No, only that it originated during the travels of the expedition. I say, before we eagerly rush back, we need to find out more about this, see if there was any way that it could be prevented.
Perhaps there are some books here that may detail. I see there's like 2 shelves back there. Do they? I assume they have books and whatnot.
Yeah, so on the west wall there's 2 shelves. They've got there's a couple books on them, a couple different odds and ends. And then on the right wall there's a longer shelf that's mostly potions, and then a chest on the right wall.
My friends, I am out of my element in this. As such, I will guard the front entrance and keep watch. I will let you know if I hear anything. But do hurry. See if you can parse these books and discern any knowledge that would be helpful to us on our return.
Can I investigate this chest that I think I'm standing by and see if it looks trapped?
Roll a perception check. Or investigation, your choice.
Well, there's also a piano in this room.
Yeah, it's like a broken organ.
Like one of those old pipe organ type things.
All right, you can definitely
Oh.
tell that there is a trap on it, and it's a pretty simple mechanism that you could probably disable.
How do I try to disable it?
You just say that you disable it. There's
Okay,
not a
I
really
disable it.
explicit. Okay, and so you're able to freely open the chest.
Ooh, what's in here?
Inside, there's about another 100 gold pieces and 2 potions of greater healing and 1 potion of invisibility.
Hey, Misku, take this gold. And Tess is gonna toss the gold at Misku.
Yoink.
And then, what were the potions that you mentioned?
2 greater healing potions of greater healing, and 1 invisibility potion.
Gotcha. I'm gonna pocket those potions.
I'm gonna try to look through these books, see if I can find any that look like they have information on Bunavar, our expedition, anything like that.
Okay, roll a investigation check.
Oh, this is not gonna be good, I don't think.
Is there any way that I can secure the front door, like lock it?
Yeah, there's he's a very paranoid shopkeeper. There's definitely a way you can there are some pretty heavy bolts that you can set in and lock it so it couldn't be opened from the outside.
Let's do it. Let's lock ourselves in.
All
I
right.
would also like to check these books to see if I can find anything as well.
All right, roll investigation.
So I got an 11.
And she rolled a 21.
Ian Fear
small
did
do
not
you-
find anything.
Let's say, how small do you have to be to roll a strength check to open a book?
I'll say that for the purpose of this, you're able to just float by the titles and find interesting things. So you do find a book. It's, a lot of these books that you see are written in different languages, and some of them are completely foreign to you. Some of you recognize. One of them in particular catches your eye. It's just titled "The Book of Plagues."
Actually, if they're all written in different languages, then I'm gonna go ahead and do my finger glasses trick again and do comprehend languages.
Okay.
And I'm gonna
and
bring people over to the Book of Plagues.
okay. Ian Fear, you can roll an investigation with advantage.
Friends, I have secured the front door. I doubt that we will be bothered.
Oof. I am gonna need to get some more intelligence.
So you looking through everything, you see you can see all the books, but the best thing you can find is another book that looks very similar to the one Cyrene has, but that's written in Undercommon.
Okay. Well, It looks like you've got the best bet here, Cyrene.
I'm watching Tess.
Tess is investigating the skeleton.
All right. Yeah, it's clear that some awful ritual was done here. It looks like it was probably a summoning circle, but it's really hard to determine. It looks like it's pretty inert at this point, and whatever magic had been done is done now.
Does it have all of its like limbs intact and everything?
Yeah, except the thing that's strange about it is that the bones aren't old. The bones aren't white or bleached or anything. They look fresh. They have that creamy, fresh color of bone.
Is there any
And
jewelry or anything around this body?
it doesn't look to be. It doesn't look like there's any kind of clothes. It's possible that the corpse was probably naked, but it looks like the flesh was probably pulled off, and you can see on some of the bones what look to be teeth marks, perhaps. It's about the
Okay.
size of a large dwarf.
Tess is gonna like snap the femur off. Like any area that has like chew markings on it, she's just gonna snap it off and put it in her bag.
Okay. When you pull the bones, there's actually even still marrow inside them. That's how fresh they are.
Ooh, marrow.
Tasty.
The book that you found is the book that you guys found is quite large. It will probably take you some time to go through it. You might have to spend a night like reading through it and trying to figure out what's really in there. But you've got a good feeling that this will give you some more answers.
Yeah, I say we we'll take some time and investigate this book.
Is anyone else gonna look around more?
Yeah, I'm just gonna continue kind of scoping out the walls and just the area around the summoning circle.
Okay.
What did you find?
A whole lot of room.
Not a whole lot.
Whole lot of blood.
There's a dead guy here.
Well, I was asking because I've been out of the room while you guys were investigating, like the books and stuff. Find anything?
We've discovered a book on diseases, but it will take some time to study it.
What language is the book in again?
So the one you found is in common, and there seems to be a matching book in undercommon that Ian Fear had.
Ooh.
So they're both the exact same book, or they're different books, but they're like a set or something.
Yeah, they look to be similar enough that you would think of them as a set. It's not clear why there's two of them. It doesn't look to be strictly just a translation thing.
Oh,
Yeah, it might be like
an interpretation.
Yeah, well, diseases in terms of the common language, and then diseases by dark elves, which would include humans.
Interesting.
Velphalen, there's something on the right side where the larger bookshelf is that you see a few things there. It's there's fewer books there and more like strange little novel items.
Can I parse through them?
You can certainly peruse. Anyone is welcome to peruse them.
Okay. I do so.
All right. Anyone looking can roll a perception check.
Perception.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take a look.
Ouch. Oh boy, he unfair critted.
All right. So, Ian Fear, you find a particular ring, and you're not sure. It's clearly it's got kind of a warm magical glow to it, like the magical feeling glow to it. It's not clear exactly what it does right away. If you want to, let's see. Oh, you rolled a 20. Yeah, so you don't know. You could probably spend the night with it and figure out what it does, but it's clear that you really want to hold on to this.
Yeah,
And
I'll go ahead. I'll pocket the ring.
okay, and Tess, you find a cloak. It looks like when you pick it up, it looks like it's kind of shimmering. It's almost as if you could turn it or fold it in some way, and it looks completely different.
Tess is kind of just holding it up and examining it.
Let's see. So Ian Fear, the ring that you found is a ring that will allow you to. It's called the Ring of Truth Telling. And you'll find this when you spend some time with it later, but you can add it to your inventory. It's called the Ring of Truth Telling, and it basically gives you advantage on insight checks
Ooh,
if you're trying to determine someone is lying to you.
that's awesome.
And Tess, you've got the Cloak of Many Fashions. Let me just copy and paste that. It might be in the compendium. Let me just paste it here in the chat. Essentially, you can change what your garments look like if you wanted to dress up noble or anything like that.
Ooh, fun.
Ooh, I might want to get that off you.
Ooh. Well, that is awesome.
Valphalin, unfortunately, you don't see anything that looks to be very useful to you.
And so I place everything back on the shelf.
Tell you what, I'll swap you the ring for that cloak.
That sounds like a good deal.
So I mean, it'll be later tonight after after the rest when we figured everything out and whatnot. But
Yeah, once you get more information on it, you know how it works. Let me know, and I'll gladly trade you.
So from what I was reading with magical items is anyone who has any kind of spellcasting ability can perform a ritual to discern what it does. That's what he's talking about.
Yeah,
Cool.
so
We can trade whenever.
if you spend the night with it, essentially, you'll know what it does.
Awesome. Tess hands over the cloak to Infear.
and then I'll hand her the ring.
Does this conclude our business here?
What's this ring called again?
It's called the Ring of Truth Telling. I don't know that I'm not sure if it's in the compendium.
Actual item. Well, it's not in the compendium, at least as far as I could search. But I mean, you can always it's Ring of Truth Telling, and then
So I know the name for my inventory. Thanks.
Yep.
You,
And what's this one? Cloak.
Cloak of Many Fashions.
Thank you.
I believe, my friends, that we should find a way to lock down this place so that we may return to it later when it's time to return home.
Talos starts to kind of really growl at the portal to the south. He's just kind of standing in front of it, just growling. And so Ahara's going to kind of come over here and try and investigate if there's anything going on there.
I'm also going to head over. I'm going to draw out my lance and stow my greatsword. I actually know I didn't have my greatsword. I'm going to draw my lance out and have it at the ready.
Okay.
I'm looking at the piano.
Let's see. I will roll a. I guess perception.
Ooh.
So Talos seems really bothered by the portal, and Ahara looks at it and says, guys, I think this thing's still on.
How do you mean?
I don't know. It's hard to say, but it's like I can feel something coming from it. Like I don't know. And Talos certainly is bothered by it.
Do you believe that something may be coming through?
I don't know. I'm not sure. It doesn't feel like anything's coming.
Something might be watching.
Maybe.
Someone might be watching. Can we cover it?
That's a good idea. So Ahara finds some random blanket looking cloak thing and tosses it kind of over where the cube is, or where the floating prism thing is.
Curious.
All right. At this point, as soon as he throws the cloth over, the cloth immediately disintegrates, and what looks to be the prism starts to kind of shift and undulate, and it's almost like it's turned sideways, and suddenly a very large kind of circle of just raw light is in front of you, which looks to be some kind of a portal.
Do not like the way that cloak vanished.
I don't like the portal. I would maybe back up, Val.
Ahara, get away from it.
Where are you?
I have 10 torches in my pack. I'd like to take one of them and toss them into the portal, or toss it into the portal.
Okay. So you light a torch and toss it through?
No, not lit. Just toss a torch.
Oh, just toss it into the portal.
Testing to see what happens.
All right. It goes into the portal and just it's gone.
Doesn't look like it disintegrated or anything like that.
There's just kind of a brief like shimmer on the surface of the portal, but it doesn't look like there was any sort of damage. It's not clear what happened to it.
I'm open to recommendations.
Ahara says, "Well, whatever we do, I don't think we could just leave it here. Maybe we could lock this place up and come back. I'm not sure."
I agree. We will need some other way to make sure that no one tries to enter.
Agreed.
Ianfear, could you craft perhaps a sign of some sort, feigning that perhaps the owner will be out for some time?
Well, I can certainly do my best to try to mimic this language, but this spell that I cast only allows me to understand the meaning and read and hear the words, but it will take me some time to try to see if I can make it else.
Is that something I might be able to do?
Yeah, I mean, you've probably spent enough time with books, between if you've got enough kind of books at your disposal, you might be able to make it look like you think it should.
Okay.
Maybe if you can find some older books on the shelves and some newer books and kind of compare the writing.
Ianfear, let's fabricate some forgery. As for the rest, see if you can locate the keys to this place.
Yes, agreed.
Wasn't the key how we got in here?
That was to this room. I'm talking about like the whole shop. Like we're
The
gonna.
whole shop.
The plan is to make the shop look like it's closed down, like indefinitely, so that we can like come back here and it will remain undisturbed.
I'll start by checking behind this desk where he was behind. See if I can maybe sort through the belongings, find the keys to the shop.
Yeah, so as soon as you get behind the desk, it's immediately clear that there's just a little spot where he keeps his where he kind of keeps the stuff that managed the shop, and he just and you immediately spot what looks to be a keychain that probably does something for the shop.
I'd like to dispose of the bodies as well.
How do you propose to do that?
That's a good question.
Ahara comes around and says, I think we should get rid of the bodies.
How about the portal?
Well, it would certainly probably work.
Someone else's problem now.
I'm going to go ahead and start by dragging this guy to the portal.
We're also gonna
Okay.
have to do something about the blood from the guy blowing his head off.
True.
Does anyone have like prestidigitation or anything?
I have? No, I think I have minor illusion. Hang on. Maybe I do. I do have prestidigitation.
I'll be right back.
Oh,
So you can, for the purpose of this, I'll say that you could repeat it. It's a cantrip. I'll say you can cast it repeatedly and clean everything in little 10-foot blocks until you've got it all. All right. So at this point, the shop is pretty clean. It kind of looks like just no one's here. You've managed to drag the bodies and push them through the portal to where they go. You have no idea, but they're not here.
Yeet.
okay.
So now we're still trying to find the shop keys, right?
Well, I believe I found what looks like it's at least a key on a keychain, so
There we go.
probably would be something.
Ian Fear did find keys. You don't know unless you try them if they work for the front of the door. But they look to be unsurprisingly kind of where you might put them if you were the shopkeeper.
So I'd like to spend some time working on this sign essentially that says the shop is closed, and yeah, just the shop is closed, I guess.
Okay. Are you going to work on it here or take stuff with?
You know what? I guess we can take stuff with us.
Okay.
I'll just pull several books that look to be in the same script as you know the signage that we've seen around.
Fair.
And I'll just kind of stash those in my inventory.
I was gonna say before we go, maybe we can grab a few of these books and donate them to the library.
Totally up to you.
Okay. Where to now? Where to next?
I'm going up to the front to see if these keys work on the door.
Well, it's
I'll
dark.
tag along.
It is dark. I think this is where we're supposed to be.
You don't have any light up there?
I don't know why that's not working.
I have no idea, but we're done with this map for now, so I'll just turn it off.
So, yeah, I mean, I guess as soon as we get outside the, as soon as we get out, we all get outside the store, then I'll try the key on the door.
Whoa.
Sounds good. All right, so I guess everyone's kind of out. Ian Fear tries the key and it does successfully lock the door. It seems to be some kind of a magical mechanism. When you lock the door from the outside, you hear not just the click of the lock, but a couple different large shunks, as it sounds like the bolts that you had pushed down into the floor and the ceiling before are locked into place. It must be some kind of a magical chained mechanism.
Hmm.
So you're fairly certain no one can get in at this point, just like no one could get in earlier.
Under normal circumstances, this would warrant more investigation.
I
Agreed.
mean, with the things that have been going on with us recently, I consider this normal circumstances.
Indeed. Should we make our way back to the library? Or did you have another place in mind?
The library might be the best source of information if this man was the foremost magic user in the area.
Yes, perhaps we should just mention that he has stepped out.
Yeah, we'll just tell the library. If anyone asks, we'll just tell them that we went to see him and he already stepped out to travel.
Yes, so I guess we're gonna go back to the library. What time of day is it at this point?
It's late afternoon at this point. You're probably all hungry. You probably missed lunch, and it's probably late enough that some stores might be starting to close, but it's still early enough that you could probably go around and do things if you desired.
Let's see. I would like to spend some time in the library, just trying to glean some more information about our whereabouts, what transpired, any research that I can do about how we might resolve this situation with the plague, or
Okay.
how it may have been resolved back then.
Yeah. So you find, in your research, you can find a pretty good deal of information about the history that kind of goes post-plague onward. Like, clearly the plague put something in motion once everyone realized it was magic that started a magic war. And you have some pretty good chronology of the war. It looked like during the war, Murhold was the stronghold for magic, and then and the war went on for 200 years, and then a while ago there was this event called the cleansing, which you find to mean that they had essentially gone hunting all of the direct phase. And somehow during it all, the idea that elves are of Fey descent has been lost. That the Fey ancestry of the elves is just, you find no evidence of it in any of your history readings. But at some point, all of the humans and elves and half elves and dwarfs and kind of your common races, all of the magic users got together and formed the Upper Murhold, which is floating above you right now. And that's kind of when the war ended, is just everyone kind of reached a truce that magic would stay on its own. You don't find a lot specifically about the events surrounding the plague, though. You see the, you've got the books on sickness, and it's clear that there could have been something that was used, but you start to suspect that perhaps the plague itself was more of a mass genocide and was specifically targeted to take something out with some knowledge. It's like somebody just picked the part of the map away from everything and then just made it disappear. The more you read about it, the more suspicious you get that it wasn't just some plague gone wrong or something. It looks like it was a very targeted attack meant to start a war.
Interesting.
You don't find any evidence of any kind of time travel, but you do find information about the Renland had mentioned the Driders, and you did find information that drow who try to serve Lolth and go through the trials but fail are often turned into Driders, which are like centaurs but spiders. So essentially they're drow from the waist up and very large spiders from the waist down. And that's really all you can find. You don't find a lot of reference to Our Lady or anything like that, but it's clear that that's probably what he was talking about.
I see.
And we're coming up on time, so we could probably end it there.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to put in for the night then. All right. Anybody else have anything they want to do?
No, Tess is just going to focus on getting something to eat and then turning in for the night.
Well, with that said, guess we'll be closing up here, and we'll see you next week. As always, this is VGpunx, the video game punks, signing off. Keep a song in your heart.